And
Hey,
we're also going to,
oh, sorry.
no, you're fine. We're also going to give you a chance to get Tejano passport points. So I'll be putting some codes in the chat box later so that you'll be able to register for those points. So Miss Carla Cardosa, she's ready to start. So here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. And thank you for coming to the transfer workshop. But I wanted to make this a very, an interactive conversation, because transfer is more about having conversation and having questions. So I wanted you guys to go ahead and feel free to ask questions more than anything. I'm not gonna present to you any PowerPoint or anything. I'm just gonna tell you about transfer and how does that work for our students and how does that work for our faculty also. And the reason for that is transfer is a very complicated, I guess, a topic for a lot of people, and for a lot of students is very, very complex and very confusing. So let me start by telling you about what we do for the transfer area. So we are Career and Transfer Services, and we do transfer advising and career advising, also job placement, anything to do with professional job search, any of the mock interviews, preparing students for the world of work, not necessarily preparing students to find them the job, but it prepares them to find any of the jobs that they need. So just to give you an idea, what we do with and advising is that we are the ones, and I like to always say, we're the ones who provide the map to the students, and then advising counselors and advisors are the ones who provide they're the travel agents. They tell you exactly which classes to take and all of that. So in essence, we're not gonna be the ones who will tell you what classes you have to take, because that will be something that one of your counselors will do. However, we do it. We walk you through the whole process of, oh, you're ready to transfer, or when students realize that they want to transfer, and that usually happens at the beginning of the, you know what, I'm going to ask everybody if everybody could put their mics on mute, because I think we have a little bit of a static thing going on. Thank you. So what we do with a lot of the questions that our students have is basically tell them, what is your future looking like in your head? Oh, I want to be an accountant, be the accountant, not necessarily the person who assists the accountant, but the accountant. So we tell them right away, okay, that would lead you to this and this and that, and then we do a career plan and we do a transfer plan. Why? Well, to be an accountant, you need to have a bachelor's, right? And then if you want to move even further up, you need a master's. So for that, automatically, we know you need a transfer, so we do a transfer plan for the student, explaining what they need to do and what they probably shouldn't be doing, which is just taking classes, any classes that are out there. A lot of our students have a lot of undeclared, we have a lot of undeclared students and a lot of students who have declared multidisciplinary Associate of Arts. And that is not a good thing for them, because they're taking classes from different places and not really taking any specific classes. So what we do with them, we try to explain to them the differences between taking specific classes and a specific degree plan, or just with the multidisciplinary. So for example, if you're taking classes to be an accountant here and get an AA in accounting, business management, then we show you how keeping with that degree plan will help you stay on track. And most of the classes, most of them will transfer to a university. And we also explain to them between transferability and applicability. So applicability and transferability are two different things. So for example, if you have 80 credit hours, we can almost guarantee to you that those credits will transfer anywhere, right? In the sense of 10 here, 10 on this other university, 10 different ways. But would they be applicable to your degree in the university that you plan to attend? Probably not. So that's when we talk to students, and we at CATS, at Career and Transfer Services, like to explain to everybody how those two words are very important, because our students right away think, well, they all transfer, so I'm good. No, yeah, things can transfer, credits can transfer, but not necessarily be applied to the degree that you are seeking after you go to your institution. So again, on that example with the accounting, so let's say you go into AA, business management, accounting, you're taking specific classes in a core curriculum that for sure a place like UTEP, let's say the students plan to go to UTEP or to an MSU, they will for sure take up to 42 credit hours of that core curriculum plus specific classes. They might take the classes and say, sure, this is equivalent to or applicable to what we have. And maybe from the other 18, and we're talking about 60 credit hours, right, for a degree. So from the other 18, those 18 classes might not be applicable. Well, they might, some of them as electives, it just depends on the university. However, the same example, but just a student who's going for an AA and multidisciplinary studies, general studies, at the college we call it multidisciplinary studies. They're taking, let's say, the 60 credit hours. Let's keep it very simple. And those 60 credit hours, they just took classes all over the place, right? The core curriculum plus different classes. It is more likely that the classes that they took, and even including the ones in the core curriculum, because they're doing multidisciplinary studies, will not apply to a degree, a bachelor's degree at UTEP or NMSU, since we're using that example, the 42 credit hours for the core. So you might be able to just transfer up to 12 credit hours, and the rest, then they'll be saying to you, you know what, let's see if we could apply some of them. If not, they will apply to an elective, or the majority of your credits will apply to the bachelor's in multidisciplinary studies over here at UTEP, interdisciplinary studies. So you might not go, they might apply to something, but not necessarily to the degree that you want them to apply to. And then also, again, they might transfer, but not to the degree that you want them to transfer. So the basic idea of transfer for us is to let students know that by just thinking that you're going to transfer, having it in your head saying, I am going to transfer, that doesn't check the box of transfer planning. You have to do something about it, and the earlier, the better. We get a lot of students who come to us during their last semester. For example, we're getting students right now, and it's March, right? So, and they're graduating in May, and they're telling us, oh, I'm graduating in May, and I'm transferring to UTEP. And we look, we sit down with them, we go through the protocol that we follow, our processes, we check on Banner, we check on DegreeWorks, and then we find out that the student, yeah, for sure is ready to graduate from us with an Associate of Arts in multidisciplinary studies with 100 credit hours, right? So we sit down with the student, we say, so what do you want to, you're gonna go to UTEP and do what? And they, most of the time they say things like, well, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a psychologist, or I want to be a communication major. And so then we go down the degree plans from us and UTEP and what will transfer. And it's not good news sometimes, because it's like the majority of classes they took do not apply again to that specific bachelor's that they want to continue at UTEP. So it is kind of a sad conversation, because they feel they took all these classes, they almost depleted their financial aid, because they have to remember, financial aid for a degree, an associate's degree, you get 90 credit hours covered. That's 150% of financial aid, meaning 60 credit hours that you need to complete your degree plan, plus, those other credits that you might take. And, we all did that. When I was going to school, I took violin, and I took a bunch of other classes, which are not necessarily a bad thing, but they go towards the amount that you get subtracted from financial aid. And then for a bachelor's, they give you 150% also, which is 150 hours, credit hours, right? So let's say that student in that situation, they already depleted 100 hours. So they only, and then they don't apply all of them to their degree. So whatever it is that they do have left over from financial aid, and the classes they need to take extra, then they need to pay out of pocket. So that's when a lot of our students say, you know what, I don't have the money to finish a bachelor's. So we tell all students and faculty, you know, doing transfer planning at the beginning, it's very important. It's essential for our students, especially for the financial component, since a lot of our students get financial aid. And then also for the transferring plan of not taking too many credit hours. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard the same thing, you know, I took too many hours that didn't transfer, and so they made me take credits that I didn't want or that I didn't need. And that's certainly true. So the way that we're trying to help students is by letting them know what path to pick with doing the career plan. Be more specific, and that way you will be able to transfer more credit hours into the bachelor's that you want to, or into the career that you want to. Some of you might be asking yourselves, well, can we just keep on multidisciplinary studies? Yes, the answer is yes. A lot of our students who want to be, for example, and I know Christine could vouch for this. I'm speaking to the choir and some of these things to some of you. But to be a librarian, we don't have a degree in library, right? And there's no bachelor's in library actually at UTEP or that I know of. So what we tell students, yeah, in that case, that is fine, but then you stay in the track, you graduate, because you could get any degree, bachelor's and associates, and then you get your master's in library studies, right? In that case, but you still need to be very, very careful and taking classes that you need to meet the requirements and that will transfer, and that way you don't end up spending too much money and also depleting your financial aid if that's what you're getting, or spending too much money if it's coming out of your pocket. Okay, so so it is very important to do this since the beginning. A lot of our students do it at the end, like the example I just used. They go at the end, you know, when there is really nothing more than we could do, because they already took the classes, they already have all these credit hours. So there's really nothing more than just trying to help them fit the majority of the classes into a degree that will take most of them. And sometimes it's not the degree that they want. Pick the career that you really want, the career that you're gonna be happy with. You have to keep in mind you're gonna spend the rest of your probably life in a job with that career that you chose. So we want you to be at least happy and excited and not just settle because of that situation. So at this point, I want to see if anybody has specific questions about transfer that I could answer. So has everybody, I mean, because like I said, transfer is just more specific in the cases of students getting the information about what they need and what things transfer. All of our, and I didn't get any questions, but so to tell you a specific example on each and every one of our degrees, it's really hard. What I can tell you is that for CTE, for the Career and Technical Education, most people call it a terminal degree, right? Because you get a degree and then you can go to the workforce and that's it. It doesn't transfer to a university. And things are changing a little bit in that area. Yeah, some universities are taking some of the CTE courses, but it's not a lot. I can tell you it could be 3 or 4 classes. So those are still terminal degrees in the sense that they are meant to provide a person with a career that they could go into the workforce right away and not transfer to a university after that, if that's your idea. The AA, the AS, those for sure are transferable or are thought about as degrees that can be transferred, and are usually the ones that students pick in order to continue their education. If they wanted to continue their education and they come to us and say, you know what, I want my future, the way I see it in my head is that I want to have a master's and a bachelor's, and they're in a CTE program, then we need to talk to them very seriously, sit down with them and go through a career plan and explain to them the differences and tell them what is it that you could do with that CTE program, or if you want to, you could change at that point and change majors. A lot of our students, and when our students are ready to move on, to different careers, they just think, well, I'm just gonna be changing my major. That's what I'll do, and they keep changing their majors. We don't recommend that. To us, it's very, very bad that a student keeps changing. We all changed our career and our major, and that's not bad. But the students doing it's been more than 3 times or more than that, it's not a good indication of what they're doing. So what they need to know is that a lot of the times when they change their major that much, you're going to be ending up with a lot of different credits. So you're going to be having to know that you're going to lose a lot of those credits that will not apply. And then also some things with financial aid, for example, will not allow you to do that. Veterans, for example, veteran students, they need to be very careful with that, because that's federal money that they're getting directly, and they need to abide by certain rules and requirements that do not let you just keep changing your major. So there's a lot of things that we of course tell students, you need to go check with this department or with that department in order for them to know whether they could even change their major. So changing the major too late into the game, it's not something that we really encourage, because it's not something that will help the student. So let me read one of the questions. When you choose a career and are ready to graduate from EPCC, what is the first step to finding out which schools you can transfer to for the next step? Okay, so hopefully you're not finding out when you're ready to graduate. Like I really want to emphasize that you already have this aligned transfer plan. So our first recommendation to students is come and see us on your first semester with us. First year in college student, come and then we'll help you do a career plan and a transfer plan. And that way it will tell you if you're on the right path to finishing sooner rather than later, or to finishing with the appropriate amount of credit hours. So that's number one. But number two, let's say you're already gonna graduate, you did all that, you're ready to go, you've been following a transfer plan, you've been keeping up with your degree plans with the institution that you wanna go to. Then what you need to do, you need to come back to us and then we'll help you. And the step that follows is to apply with that institution. Different institutions have different application procedures. Some will charge you for the application, some will ask you to do an essay, some of them, it depends where you're going, and it depends on what do you want to do. But we tell students also, at that point, it's better if you do it this semester, at the beginning of the semester that you're going to graduate, and just be very, very proactive in applying for scholarships, in knowing what that school looks like, we have different partners at the transfer services, different partnering institutions, and we can help you by connecting you. And now it's even better than before, because before we would used to, contact somebody and then you would just talk to them on the phone. But now, since we're virtual and remotely, there's so much stuff that four-year institutions are doing to give you the tour virtually, and also, to help you finish up with your application. So we always suggest that people come to us sooner rather than later, and then just follow the steps that they need to keep up with their degree plan and the degree plan that they're choosing at that institution. Any other questions?
I have another question. I'm looking at the website on the screen for the Career and Transfer Services, and it says get connected. So do the students just go in through there and then they make an appointment? How does that work?
Thank you, Christine. Yes, actually, we have all of our services online, virtual. So you could call us, but then you could also visit us. So online assistant is through the virtual office, which is here in our website, which is epcc.edu/services/career services. And then you click get connected, and that takes you to Blackboard, to our virtual office. And you will be talking and seeing a specialist, a career transfer services, a CATS. We call ourselves CATS, a CATS specialist, and they'll walk you through it. You just tell them, I'm ready to talk about transfer, or and don't worry, you don't have to have the right jargon or anything like that. Even if you just say, I'm thinking of going to a university next year, and I want to have information, they'll know how to help you, what the next step is. So also here in this website, we have other resources, and some of those resources talk about transfer services, some of them talk about career planning, job placement, co-op, because we also participate in co-op. But they will give you information about how to transfer. We also have the transfer guide. I'm glad that thank you, Christine. So the transfer guide is basically, we produce this transfer guide for those of you who are faculty members. We produce this career guide for our students. And it's just basically different articles about transfer, employment, anything to do with career development. We put different articles, but also different steps of what you need to do, different resources, financially, like I said, scholarships or any things like that might help you for when you transfer to an institution. We talk about different scholarships that are out there that will pay mostly for the rest of your bachelor's degree. Those are very, very great scholarships that a lot of our students don't take advantage of. And a lot of our students are very, very, very smart, and they have the grades, they have the GPA, so they could, in fact, be eligible for those scholarships. It's just that a lot of our students get scared about the essay, yes, because there's always an essay, but we're there also to help you with that. We basically, the scholarships gives you some questions, just like in different other scenarios. What is it that you intend to do with your degree? What do you plan to do? How do you plan to give back to the community? So we always tell students, even if you're not planning to ask for a scholarship yet, start thinking about writing that essay, or at least the skeleton of that essay. And then you could put, nobody knows you better than yourself. So sometimes we're very, especially here in the border in El Paso, we're very humble. And we feel like, well, we're nothing special. We don't have any excruciating circumstances. We're not, and it's not true. We in that area, especially because we live here in the borderland. So, you could just go and write about what you would like to do and all of those things. And then we will be able to help you, edit it and help you submit that scholarship application. Okay, so for example, we give you a timeline of what we recommend for you to do for the transfer timeline, you know, where you should be at different um, you know, stages. For example, you know, like the first semester, we do ask that you look into it. At least start, if you already know that you want a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate, then you're gonna transfer something. And so we want to see you. Then 16 to 30 credit hours, you know, to come and see us and just keep with your plan, you know, just stay on track. Like anything, like a road trip, you go on the road and then you sometimes take a little exit, a tangent that you didn't have planned, and that's fine. As long as you're staying within the route that you need to go to, we will tell you, you know what, just don't take too many classes that are outside of your degree because they probably won't apply, so on and so forth. And then the 31 to 45, again, just to check that you are on the right track. And that's when we actually start telling you at the end of the 45 credit hours, you know, let's start looking at schools, do it on your own, start researching, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You know, do you want to continue with a master's or just a bachelor's? And so we sit down again, we go through your transfer plan, and then we discuss those things. So that by the last semester, you already know, you know, you're set in the sense that you're going on the right road, and that you have taken all the precautions not to take too many credit hours that you don't need. So I have another question from Manny. If they really want to change, do you recommend finishing and then taking the additional classes? Um, you know, Manny, that happens more than we would like it to happen. Some of the students are in the stage of, you know, 46 to 61 credit hours, which is still good, I believe it or not. I mean, because a lot of our students have more than 60 credit hours. So let's say they realize that on their, we sit down with them again and we tell them, look, let's look at the what if. And there is something wonderful in degree works called the what if. What would entail for you to change your major right now. And we do that what if, and it gives you the scenario of what if you change from an Associate of Arts in, I don't know, psychology to an Associate of Arts in, an Associate of Science in engineering, right? So it will give you a scenario of the classes that you could apply to that new major that you're thinking about changing, and those that won't apply. They'll just be there as you, like, to say that you took them. So we sit down with the student, we explain to the student how this is gonna take them even, we go back to the transfer plan, we explain how, you know, this will take you in a different road because this is a different map, and how it affect your finishing time and also the financial component of it. But if they insist in changing it, I mean, there is nothing I mean, it's still their decision, and we'll let them go with their decision, whatever it is, their decision. But we do put it in the transfer plan and explain all that. Okay. Additionally, it says so they have a good idea of the cost in time and money. Yes. We tell them that when they come to us. Unfortunately, if they don't come to us, sometimes they don't know. You know, they think, well, yeah, it's gonna take longer, but I don't know how long or more. So we do give them a specific. It's gonna take you. You're adding more credits because you're changing a major, so that's gonna take you another year to finish at least these credit hours, and then we talk about the cost. And the cost we talk about, we ask the student about their financial situation in the sense of, are you getting financial aid? If you are, you already have 100 credit hours, you change majors, you know, you're probably gonna deplete your financial aid with your associate's degree. And then your bachelor's, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. Or through scholarships, you know, there's always ways of doing it. Again, some students decide to still do it and if that's the best choice for them because they feel that keeping on the road that they're going, it's not going to make them happy, then of course, we give them all the information, and then we're there when they come back for that. So there's other information here in our website. Like, for example, we have different universities that come, and we call it, when we were in person, they will come into our college, into the college, the different campuses, and they would just be there the whole day, or be there from 10 to 2, depending, and they will be there setting up a table at the, at one of the traffic areas and answering questions from students, about their institution. So we still do that the same way. You have to go into our office, our virtual office. You get connected, like in that link in the top, and then you get to talk to those university reps. We have an MSU and UTEP. They try to be in our campus as much as they can to answer different questions. But we also get other universities, in the state or even out of state. They come to us and talk to our students. And of course, if students have a request, let's say we see that a lot of students are coming in and asking for the University of, Santa Clara in California a lot, then we reach out and say, hey, and now with, I know we've had, there's remote and virtual has brought up so many negative things, but it's also brought up a lot of positive things. For example, for us, it makes it easier for our partners, university partners, to come into campus virtually and answer the questions from our students. We just need our students to really come, because sometimes we don't have that many students come through our office virtually and talk to our partners, then they might feel like it's not worth their time. So any other questions? So you could check these events all the time. We're trying to update it. I mean, we depend on IT to change our events, but you could always check back.
So I have a question. Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. So what would be if, like, a student, let's just say maybe they're a military dependent or something, and they're going to be transferring to a school that we don't usually work with, would you help them obtain that information about what's required for that school for a transfer?
Yes, most definitely. What we do is, like I said, so the student comes and says, I want to go to the Naval Academy or some other institution that we might not be so familiar with. So what we do first, we look the information online. Of course, we go through the website. We try to see what kind of degrees they have, which is the one that they want, the student, which one is the one that they're interested in. We do all the first steps, the internal, the degree at Epcc, how it would transfer to that degree in that school. And then what we do at the end of that, it's called one of the recruiters at the university that they are inquiring about. So we put them in contact. We talk to the rep and we say, we're from CATS at Epcc, and our student is very interested in going to your school and transferring to your school. What kind of things can you offer? We looked at your website. We saw your scholarship department. We saw your different activities, this and this and that. But we're more interested in getting information about this college or this degree. And then we let the student, ask the questions that he or she has. And then we, of course, write all the information for the student and even the recruiter's name. And the recruiters are very good at, remember, our students are worth gold in the sense for recruiters anywhere in the universities, because they're potential students that they can enroll. So we want our students to know that they don't have to settle. There's a bunch of stuff out there, and there's a lot of opportunities that they could seek out. A lot of different universities. They don't have to just say, oh, well, here, because that's where I have here in El Paso. And again, more than ever, remote That's one of the benefits. Our students could even go anywhere because classes or degrees can be done totally through virtual means.
Thank you.
So any other questions that you might have? I know that this is it's complicated in the sense that it has to do by case basis. However, in general, I just want to tell you that the sooner, again, and I keep emphasizing it because to us it's really important, the better. We tell faculty, send your students, even if that's their first class that they're taking, let them know, that the sooner they know what they're doing for the rest of their career, the better. Nowadays, they have to know what they be since 8th grade. With the endorsements in the high schools, they need to declare, they're called endorsements, but they need to declare it since 8th grade, and then 9th grade, they have to for sure make it official by signing documents and saying, yeah, these are the endorsements that I want to follow. And endorsements is just basically the different areas of study or programs of study that we have. So students are being, they have to choose. A lot of people don't agree with that, and I'm one of them because kids at 8th and 9th grade, I don't remember even knowing what I was going to do. I didn't know my left hand from my right hand, and so it is a lot of pressure that we're putting on them. Also, when I was going to school, there was no limitation in the amount of hours you could take from financial aid. Financial aid will cover it. That was a long time ago, guys. So I know I'm dating myself, but so we could take violin, French, Italian and all of that, and we were good to go. It was personal enrichment more than anything. But nowadays, there's a lot of limitations with financial aid, with the rules in the state, how many classes you can repeat or not repeat, withdraw. So there's a lot of things out there that our students need to be aware of. And sometimes they don't take it into consideration because they don't know. And how do you ask the unknown? People say, well, ask. Well, how do you know what you don't know, right? And I always say that. So just give the basics to the students, like if you're planning on having a bachelor's, then you need to come and see us. Transfer planning. So these are the different things the different hours that we have. We're available 8:30 to 5:30 online and by phone, and we'll send you smoke signals if we have to, but we're available. There's always a specialist available. We work from 8:30 to 5:30 and every day, Monday through Friday. And so again, we do many things aside from transfer, but we also, but right now we're talking about transfer. So, but we do many things that have to do with career development. And that includes, again, knowing your career, knowing that you're gonna transfer in the long run because you want a bachelor's or a master's or a doctorate, and just be ready for that. We wanna provide you with the tools. We wanna provide the students with the tools. So we do presentations, we do workshops, and classroom presentations. We also do something that we call transfer clinics. A transfer clinic is just basically getting together with a faculty member and saying and having us in their syllabus, and we will work with you through the whole semester in ways that you could send the students to us, because sometimes what happens if we don't get together with you and you say, let's, for example, extra credit, right? I'll give you all extra credit, 10 points for next Friday. So then what happens, the student does, they all come to us on Friday, all of them at the same time. And we will take care of them, but they're gonna have to wait because doing transfer plan and career plan, it's not a 15-minute, 20-minute, it's sitting down, going over everything. So that would take time. And some of the students, might get frustrated or think, oh my God, it's because my extra credit or it's due today. So with the transfer clinics, we help you by saying, we will set aside this whole week for your students. We will set aside times during this whole 2 weeks, whatever it is that you decide to do. And we could even do the whole package, which is, doing the different classroom presentations about jobs, how to write resumes, how to do the career plan, how to do the career assessments, how to do the, if you're in co-op, we provide all the different workshops about work ethics, transfer planning, all of that. So, we're there, we're available for faculty, and we will cover your class because our presentation takes usually 50 to an hour, or even more. Depends on what you want us to do, because if it's a resume clinic, then we will explain about all the different documents for a job and things like that. And yes, the link is a live link. So if you need anything, give us a visit and also a call. I mean, we just dial our number, which is 831-2636. And if it's easier for you to connect through Teams, we can connect through Teams. If it is easier for you to connect through another means, Zoom, then, we will do whatever it takes to help you. Because I know Blackboard sometimes doesn't work with Teams, and there's a lot of logistics with that. But just give us a call, and that number, there's always a live person answering. And also follow us on social media. We put a lot of the information that I just told you about on social media. We put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have LinkedIn also. And we put all the information and tips. We put events. We do different videos about information that I just explained to you. So basically, we were all over the place just to try to tell our students, we're here and use us.
Thank you so much. Is there any more questions? Thank you so much,
Come on.
Mendoza.
Well, I hope I answer everybody's questions. And if if there's anything, again, you could reach me at this number or through the connect of the virtual office, and we will be so happy to answer your questions. And there is no dumb question at all. I mean, ask any of the questions you might have. And it's better to ask a lot and then to put you in the right track. And for us, that's what we do, and that's what we want to continue doing.
Great. Well, thank you. This is great information for all the students and also for anyone who has students that they help to refer them to you all. So thank you. And it's never too early to start. So get in there as soon as you know what you're interested in. And if you don't, they can help you with that too. So thank you so much.